Parliament is currently holding public hearings on new changes to the electoral system. They're supposed to allow for people to stand for public office as independents without having to go through a political party. Nearly 2 years ago, the Constitutional Court ruled that you should be allowed to stand for Parliament without forming a political party. That's led to a huge debate around the system that we should actually use. There are many different electoral systems out there. Mosa Chabane is the chair of the National Assembly Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs. This comes under the Home Affairs Ministry, although there's been a task team and I think another task team and a Constitutional Court ruling to look at as well. Mr. Chabane, good afternoon to you. As I understand the main problem here, we have a system of proportional representation on the one side, and we have this ruling on the other that says you now need to allow individuals to run for Parliament. The proposals that are on the table now, do you think they get around those problems? Are they able to marry these two issues?
Afternoon and good evening. Afternoon, Stephen. Well, you are correctly indicated that the Constitutional Court judgment directed Parliament to look on or to initiate a legislative that will include independent candidates to participate in both the National Assembly and the provincial legislatures. And it's a process that we're engaging on. As you know, that accurately you have highlighted that there was a task team that was appointed by the Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Zwaledi, that was led by former Minister Mosa, and then a team that has consulted in order to develop this thought of how we must move forward.
In the end, that task team, the Mosa task team, actually ended up, I think, doing 2 reports. And the Home Affairs Department, Parliament, maybe it was the ANC, NEC, I'm not sure which, made the final decision, decided to go with the minority view, the minority report rather than the majority report. And the minority report, as I understand it, if I've understood this correctly, sort of just complies with the Constitutional Court ruling, but doesn't really make it very easy for individuals to run for Parliament. Do you see it like that, or do you think I'm not seeing it properly?
No, I don't think that you're accurately putting it. The process is that the task team led by former Minister Mosa submitted a report, as has been approved by the team that was leading to the minister, and ultimately to Cabinet, and for Cabinet to develop a process of the bill that was referred to Parliament, on a table to Parliament, and Parliament referred it to the Portfolio Committee. So the work that has been done now is to solicit views from all stakeholders. You remember that for the past 2 days, with oral submission from various NGOs, interested parties, organizations, with an intention to contribute to enhance the understanding, so that at the end, when Parliament or public hearings throughout the country are being held, the committee will then deliberate on the issues that were raised and on the option modalities that our people think that must be included in legislation, and ultimately submit a report to Parliament. And it is at that time that Parliament will take a decision on how we must move forward to respond to the Concord judgment.
Are you getting a lot of responses? It's an issue that's very technical, and yet it's really important. It gets to the absolute basis of how we vote and who we vote for.
You are correct. It's a technical process, but we have already started with within the team in the parliamentary unit that works with educating our people on the ground in terms of the bill, the Constitutional Court judgment, and what we are intending to achieve in terms of these public hearings. That will be starting in next week throughout the province. So we're confident that given the submissions that have been submitted to Parliament, and including the oral submissions that were conducted in the last 2 days, we hope that at the end, when we've facilitated this public hearing with our people, we'll have able to have a position in terms of how we'll respond to the Constitutional Court judgment.
The other problem, of course, is timing. I think the Constitutional Court was at 2 years. That was nearly 2 years ago. Are you worried that we're going to run out of time here?
Well, the committee has already considered that point in our last meeting. You remember that we had many obstacles in terms of the processing the issues. We need to consult extensively this process. The process that former Minister Mosa took to consult with all stakeholders throughout the country, interested parties, it took time. Also the process that were in the COVID, also in the local government election, some of the issues that contributed to the space that we could not deal with this process. Now, this bill was tabled in Parliament in January 2022 by the executive bill, and it referred to the committee. That's why we're now on the ground to make sure that at least we're able to respond to the time frame, though we still have to go through the National Council of Provinces. We've already taken a decision as the committee that we need to approach the Constitutional Court through Parliament for the extension.
I really appreciate the time. Mosa Chabane, thank you, the Chair of the National Assembly Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs.